الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. We had intended to get started on some exercises to show a practical example. There's a couple other theoretical points I want to cover first. So inshallah we'll be looking at those shortly. The topic right now which we're going to look at is when does it become compulsory to pay zakat. So this is with respect to generally the first year around. So as we mentioned here, the prerequisite for the payment of zakat to become compulsory is that an entire lunar year should pass with the person in the possession of the Nisab. So we haven't defined Nisab just yet. We haven't defined it yet. Inshallah, we're going to talk about it in more detail. But for now, we're just looking at the theory. So a person who possesses Nisab. So let's draw ourselves a little line here. Beautiful straight line. So we're talking about Ramadan first. And now over here, he finally reaches this level of Nisab. He finally crosses it. Alright. And he maintains it. He maintains it for 1 year. Now, for him, he would have to give zakat. So this is the first year. Now, okay, so zakat year 1. This is the beginning of his zakat year 2. And so on. So now once at this point he had Nisab and he had to pay zakat over here, every year it'll continue. Okay. Now, so further state that this means that his wealth should be equal to or greater than Nisab at both the ends of the zakat year. So notice that we had zakat, we had Nisab at the beginning of the year and now at the end of the year. So that condition is fulfilled. And notice that I didn't draw what happens in between, because it does not matter if his wealth remained so in the middle of the zakat year. So there could have been some fluctuations. He might have dropped below and then he went back up and he remained rich and then he became poor all of a sudden. He got less than Nisab, then he went back. So what happens here is not of great concern. Not too important. I mean, there's details to it too. But if he started the beginning of the year with Nisab and then the end of the year he completed with Nisab, then he has to pay zakat. Alright, he's got to pay zakat. Okay. Let me get rid of this guy. Okay. So now our next set of scenarios. So a person, he had Nisab someday. So we'll assume that our friend, starting of the year, he had Nisab. And then what happens, and his wealth remains equal to or above Nisab. So here is our end of the year. And he had Nisab throughout the year. He had above, fluctuated, but always remained above. So then paying zakat will be compulsory for him. Straightforward. Now, in another situation, another scenario, what happens is that it got reduced to less than Nisab. But at the end of the lunar year, he again became owner of Nisab or more. Then zakat will remain obligatory for him. See, he went below, he went up, and he went below, but he came back, and he eventually had more. So again, zakat will be compulsory on him. And last but not least, during the year, he earns more of that category of wealth. So sometimes, this concept of a person remaining in possession of money for a period of a year, this becomes a topic of confusion for some people. That he had Nisab, so this is Nisab, and he had some money, and now it started going up. So now he has almost twice, 3 times as much as he had when he started. And they say, well, we have to have this, we have to be holding on to this money for a period of 12 months. Actually, that's a misconception. You don't have to. The first year, the 2 endpoints of the year should be above Nisab. And then zakat will become obligatory. So in the same scenario, same type of situation, a person, he had Nisab at the beginning of the year, he had more than Nisab, and even say that it went, slightly, let's go a bit more extreme. Business is bad, 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 and then all of a sudden, right, 1 month before zakat is due, boom, profits just go through the sky, just go straight through the roof. Now he says, oh, come on, man. I just had this for, 1 week. Why do I have to pay zakat on that? Well, that's how it goes. Even if this increase is, what happened for just a week before his zakat date, he would have to pay zakat on that. So, my friends, this is how it goes. And you know what? Zakat is much less demanding than federal income taxes, then much less than provincial income taxes. It's much less than GST, TVQ, or HST. So this is something that Allah has promised. Right? That Rasulullah mentions that money does not decrease by giving sadaqah. So we should put our trust in Allah, and we should see how fair it is that Allah demands very little from us. In reality, He demands very little for such a great thing. And subhanallah, you think about it. In other faiths, the clergy, the religious folk, and so on, they collect the money and they hold on to it for themselves. In Deen, we do not have this option. Rather, the money is collected. Okay, those people who are working on amilina alayha, some amount, to the extent of their work and their necessity, they will be compensated. But the money is actually intended for the poor, to take away the poverty, to take away the distress and the hardship of the poor. That is, in fact, the intent of zakat, and to purify our wealth too. Zakka yuzakki tazkiyatan wa zakatan means to purify. So this is what a person is doing, is purifying his wealth. And if this is the cost that it takes for us to purify our wealth, then alhamdulillah, Allah has made it easy for us. So inshallah, we'll continue the next discussion in the coming videos, inshallah. So until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.